A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
An empty plastic bottle would give you 50 cents. A soda can, 60 cents. A used food container, 80. Wondering why I know this? Because that's my job. I am a trash picker at my school.
Harry, the trash prince is on a roll today. And how is your trashy affair with Bella coming? She lets you kiss her with that stink?
Their words don't bother me. They don't know why I do what I do. And my secret. I edge close to my class when I hear Bella and her friend talking.
You can't be serious, Bella. You want me to break up with him for you?
I would do it myself if his poverty didn't give me the creeps.
You are unbelievable.
I come face to face with Bella's friend. She knew I heard the conversation and couldn't meet my eyes. She hands me the new phone I bought for Bella and walks away. I saved for months to buy her this phone. I walk down the empty corridor with a heavy heart, pick the phone out of the box, slip my SIM in, and switch it on. When... Harry Parker, you have passed the poverty test? You are now the heir to Parker family's billions worth of assets?
If Harry is a billionaire, why does he work as a trash picker? What is his big secret? Why did he not reveal his billionaire status to Bella? To know more, listen to the audio series Destiny Reloaded, only on Pocket FM.
Presentation.
Howdy, folks, and welcome into Turn 200's coverage of the American Sim Racing League Sports Car Championship. Tonight, we are at the hallowed grounds of the Brickyard. That's right, we're back, but it's not the normal layout that we're pretty much used to here at this point on Turn 200. It's not the normal road course. It is Indy bike layout here tonight from the 2009 scan of the Brickyard. It's the bike layout. This is Matt Williamson. Unfortunately, no Tommy Cook for you. It's just me up here in the booth, so you're getting lead announcing from good old Mart. We'll give it a whirl. Lots of stuff to pay attention to with a one-man booth, but we're going to get through it. Hope that you're going to enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in, and we are... Here in qualifying is underway. Mostly everybody has already taken their times, but we're going to see if we can get out there with a couple of folks while they're still getting some runs in. This is Rene Garcia out here working on the second lap. Looks like we might get some action from Dan Miglin as well, just now getting out on the track. And yes, Nate the Great, Nate Siefker in the house, in the chat. The GOAT layout, he says. I would have to agree. This is actually the broadcaster's pick of choice for the track, and Tommy allowed me to pick the track that we were allowed to pick this season, and I chose this layout because I was at the inaugural MotoGP race in 2008 here at the Brickyard. So this layout is pretty near and dear to my heart. So it's a great layout. A couple of noticeable changes, one of them being that they are going backwards from what you would normally see on the road course. That poses its own challenges, but also a couple of different turns. We will highlight those more as we go here throughout the night, but thank you for tuning in. By the way, couple of things before we get going here. Tommy Cook is not here tonight because he is doing a real-life broadcast. He was asked to join the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series broadcast tonight. Yes, that is right. It is a huge night for our very own Tommy Cook in real-life racing. So everybody send your positive energy to Tommy. It is a big night for his career tonight, and looking forward to hearing about it maybe tomorrow night at Max V or later on next week. And also to note, Nate Siefker not going to be on the track. Most of the drivers probably know. It was pretty well documented here in the Discords, but Nate Siefker was in a very unfortunate accident, so he had to spend some time in the hospital. I'm not sure if he's still there or not, but he is in the chat, and hoping the best for Nate. It seems like he's recovering well, and glad that you're here in the chat, buddy. We're rooting for you. We're feeling for you. And hopefully you'll be back out here soon, because it's just not the same without you. One more thing to note, we do have a change from the points leader of the GT4 class. Hunter Engrav, I'll get to that in a moment, is not going to be racing in the GT4 class any longer. He has moved to the GT3 class, I believe, for the remainder of the season. So he's the points leader right now in the GT4. So the points lead is going to change at some point. The next person in line right now would be Johnny Hamby. We will document some more of that as we roll along here as well. But it is time to take the grid here at the Brickyard for the American Sim Racing League Sports Car Championship. It's week 4 here at Indy Bike. And leading us off, the man that I just mentioned that is switching to the GT3 class, Hunter Engrav, has taken the pole here in his first soiree in the GT3s at the Brickyard. James Lehman going to be starting on the outside in second. Starting in third, Kevin Bonomi to his outside, Brody Gunter. Brody obviously has done quite well in the sprint races, well documented. He has struggled a little bit in the feature races after having to go to the back of the field. So looking to turn that around tonight. Joshua Heggie starting in 5th, Johnny Alford 6th, J.J. Wang starting in 7th. Matt Schlosser will start to his outside. On the 5th row, Jarrell Williams and Matthew Short. Starting 11th, Jeff Mathis. Brian Deese will start in 12th. Moving right along to round out the GT3 class, Dave Payton will start in 13th, and Joshua Rutherford will start in 14th. Now to the GT4s. Rhett Nichols has shown a lot of speed, but Hunter Engrav has gotten the best of him quite a few times, but maybe no longer. Rhett Nichols is going to be your pole sitter for the GT4s. Alex Howland will start in 2nd. Nick Batista, Johnny Hamby will start 3rd and 4th. Rene Garcia, Indica Scarlett, 5th and 6th. And Nate Morris and Ryan Dye will be starting on the 4th row. Ken Eastep and Rick Thompson will start behind them on the 5th row. Corey Rutherford, Dan Miglin in 11th and 12th. And rounding out the GT4 field will be Fred Thompson in 13th in the class. Alrighty, folks, track conditions for you. It is the afternoon, but still pretty favorable track conditions here. 85 degrees on the track temperature. We got the dash race coming up, so it'll be a 20-minute sprint No pit stops needed. After that, we will have the 40-minute feature, and a pit stop will be on the table. They do have a fast repair for both races here as well, so if something gets crazy here in the first lap, which may be possible, pretty tight quarters down into the first few turns while the drivers are all together still, so could be interesting starts to these races. We have seen some fireworks early on in the dash races previously this season. Might be in for another spicy one here, but we will have to see. Alrighty, folks, it is about that time. Let me know who we're rooting for, who we are betting on. Saw Goodleaf talking about the banana bets from the Turn 200 Discord. If you're not in the Turn 200 Discord, there's a link below to join, and there is a fake currency called Banana Bucks that you can bet on the races and bet on your favorite drivers to win those races here on the channel. Out of the final corner, pace truck will pull off. And the green flag will wave. We are underway here for the sprint race at the Brickyard. Early on, Lehman looking to the inside of Engrave for the overall lead. Oh, Lehman, huge stack up. Brody Gunter gets into the back of Lehman. Everybody else seems to get through. Looks like Rhett Nichols a little bit slow there on the bottom. Nick Batista able to pull around for the lead in the GT4 class. Not sure, maybe Nichols had a bit of a slowdown there. It looked like he was kind of on the side of the racetrack with no momentum. But nonetheless, Nick Batista gets out to the lead there in the GT4s. Oh, looked like somebody in the wall farther back. Hard to tell who that was. James Lehman still chasing after Hunter Engrav. Back in the GT4s, Nick Batista still out front. That's Rhett Nichols in the car directly behind. And the white Mercedes, Rene Garcia, Indica Scarlett, and Johnny Hamby rounding out the top five. There's Dave Payton in a GT3 trying to work through the traffic a little bit here. Joshua Rutherford, I think, messed up the qualifying effort and had to start all the way at the back of the field behind the GT4 drivers as well. So Rutherford going to have a long ways to get through. Little bit of a stack up here. That's Peyton trying to get through the traffic. Indica Scarlett, Johnny Hamby going after it for fourth. And up here towards the front of the GT3s, here comes Kevin Bonomi. Bonomi has had a lot of speed this season. Looking for a sprint race win here at Indy Bike. I've had a lot on my plate. I just saw Mr. Siefker's comment that he's back home in Iowa and excited to watch. And that is wonderful news. Getting back home and rested up. And if you're a faithful watcher of Turn 200, you might notice that we are pronouncing Hunter Engrav's name different this week. We were just informed after announcing many races and even race wins for Hunter Engrave that we were saying his last name completely wrong this entire time. We used to say Hunter Engrave. That is in fact not the case, but Hunter Engrave is under fire. Lehman has started to catch back up to Hunter, and Bonomi is right here on their heels as well. Oh, J.J. Wang goes through a spin out of the first turn. Looks like minimal damage, probably not really any damage to the car, but is going to lose quite a few spots here, all the way back to 11th. I believe was running 6th at the time. And here's Joshua Rutherford trying to make his way around Nick Batista. Batista still the leader here in the GT4 class. Has opened up a bit of a gap back to, and this is Indica Scarlet. Red Nichols has had a problem somewhere that I missed. I apologize. We'll try and go find that incident for Nichols. Meanwhile, here's Johnny Hamby moving up the inside and is going to get clear of Indica Scarlet. So Hamby moves up to 2nd now with problems for Rhett Nichols early on here. And it looks like just about the same time J.J. Wang had his off track, Rhett Nichols had a problem somewhere on the track as well. Go ahead and take a look at the replays. Oh, and you can see the back end of Wang's car as he comes down here into turn 1. Just loses the rear end, and that's really easy to do there, that Ford. The only Ford in the field week in and week out is J.J. Wang. And here's the issue for Rhett Nichols. Oh, and it's contact! That's contact with Rene Garcia. And this is into turn 2, a really tight section of the course. And Nichols makes contact with that right rear and sends them both spinning. So we're going to move back to the front of the field. Hunter Engrave starting to open up a little bit of a lead here. Bonomi and Lehman still fighting pretty hard here for the 2nd position. Yeah, and to Goodleaf's comment, just looked like Nichols may have gotten in there just a little too hot into that 2nd corner, trying to make up some ground there on corner entry. But that's going to happen. The turns 2, 3, and 4 are all right there together. Very, very tight technical corners. Something that it's a very slow section. You have to get slowed way down for it. And these cars not used to that extra turn in there. Usually it's just 2 turns there in that part of the racetrack coming on in the back half of the lap on the regular road course. Here, it's at the beginning of the lap, of course, because they are going, I guess, backwards from the road course, but the correct way on the oval. I don't know how. It's kind of backwards, but also the correct way, I guess you could say. But regardless, an extra kink in there, turn 4, a very, very tight left-hander, almost like a 180 back onto the oval. That section's so difficult. Lehman and Bonomi coming here into the final turn. There's less room here. You see the cones out there on the racetrack. In the regular road course, that would be turn 1, and you basically get all of those lanes to maneuver. But here, on the bike layout, you don't get all of that room. Those cones are there to keep you from getting all the way to the left-hand side. So much less, a lot less space to operate there coming out onto the front stretch to get to the bricks there at the end of the lap. And there's that turn 4 we were just talking about that Lehman had Bonomi all over the back of him. And this is going to be a tough place to pass. So we talk about passing being tough at a lot of the road courses that we go to, but this one, very tight, very technical. This one, we might see some elbows get thrown here tonight. We've been watching this battle pretty close. This is the closest battle on the track by far consistently. Johnny Hamby is starting to make a little headway into the gap between his lead in the GT4 class. And you see them both here. Just a few car lengths now. Oh, Bonomi looked like he tried to get to the inside of Lehman there. In the penultimate corner, got a little bent out of shape, and now Brody Gunter's going to be in this fight as well. Didn't really get a chance to go on board with anybody in qualifying, so we're going to go ahead and go on board with one of these drivers, and I think it's going to be Joshua Heggie, who is at the back of this group now, all fighting for second place. This is through turns 5 and now 6. See Bonomi up there ahead, still trying to root Lehman up out of the way a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump up to Bonomi. Bonomi on the outside here, if he could keep that position, would have good inside positioning into the next one, but with these flat corners, it's so difficult to keep any pace there on the outside and try and make a move. Big slowdown for turn 15 and now 16. The final corner down the front stretch. Bonomi maybe trying to fake a little move to the inside here. Here's turns 2, 3, and then 4. You see just how slow, and you just kind of have to roll there through turn 4 before you get back on the gas. Oh, Brody Gunter. Gunter's had a problem there in that section. Oh, and there is huge damage. Looks like the left front of that car and the right front as well. Pretty heavy damage just to the front in general, it might look like. Kind of hard to tell with the way the body's shaped there on the front. Well, that was through that same section we've been talking about all night. Lots of action going on here. That's Lehman and Bonomi in front. Big slowdown. Oh, and Gunter just dips a tire into the grass there on the inside. And as he tries to put the power down, that is enough to get him spun around. Has to do a complete 360 to get turned around. Ends up losing 3 positions there. Heggie, Alfred, and Matt Schlosser get through, so Brody Gunter sent back to 7th after that incident. And must not be much damage. It was kind of hard to tell there with some shadows and the way that body is shaped to begin with. Just a self-spin. So no damage to Brody. Hopefully might be able to get back on the horse here. Looking back to the GT4 class, hasn't been any passes for position much, but we have 3 all here together. It's Indica Scarlet, currently sits 3rd in class, with Rhett Nichols there in the middle in the NRN machine, that white number 555, and then Alex Howland's here tonight in the GT4 class in the 2, sitting right behind. And Johnny Hamby's really hasn't had any looks per se, but has certainly been right there to try and apply some pressure to Batista, but just has not been able to get close enough to make any sort of a move at a pass for the lead here in the GT4 class. Thank you again to everybody tuning in. I see Hunter Leach here in the chat. Saying sorry, but he's listening to Tommy on Dirt Vision. So, Tommy, again, on the Dirt Vision broadcast for the World of Outlaws. You might want to go check that out. Oh, Bonomi! Wow, Bonomi got a good look to the inside there, but was pinched off with that limited room there in the final corner. Was not able to complete the pass. That is by far the best look that Bonomi has had to make that pass on Lehman. Bonomi's starting to get a little braver with those looks. Oh! Looks like he got into the back of Lehman here in turn 3. Bumper is starting to get used a little bit here, but time is winding down. Only 4 minutes to go. Hunter Engrav, a 4-second lead now over James Lehman and the rest of this little grouping here. Haven't shown Hunter a whole lot because he's been out here cruising. Pretty much doing the same thing that he did in the GT4 class, but switched classes, got the pole, and set sail here in the sprint race. Once again. This time it was in the Porsche GT3, though. And here comes Johnny Hamby. Has finally gotten right up to the bumper of Batista. This has been the closest Hamby has been to the lead. Oh! And there's going to be contact between the two of them. Hamby tries to make a huge dive to the inside there in turn 2. I don't know how that didn't upset both of them and spin them around. That seemed like pretty significant contact. Nonetheless, able to keep it going, but that was by far the best shot that Hamby's given him. And Nick Batista able to keep it all together. Oh, no, I see Kevin Bonomi down the leaderboard. And again there in turns 2, 3, and 4. Kevin Bonomi has a problem, moves from 3rd down to 6th. Is now in between Matt Schlosser and Brody Gunter. Gunter, of course, had issues there in that section of the racetrack as well earlier. And let's take a look, wondering if there might be some contact. Bonomi made some contact with Lehman previously here through this section. Oh, and it It doesn't. Oh, he certainly does. Carrying way more speed than Lehman there into turn 3. And then has to check up for a moment to find a safe place to get back on the racetrack. And we've missed the pass for the lead in the GT4 class. Nick Batista now to second. Johnny Hamby's taking the lead with only a minute remaining. If we can find a place to take a look at this replay, we will, but too much to watch right now as Joshua Heggie just got to the inside of Lehman there in turn number 2 as well. Oh, and Lehman just about looped it around there out of 4, getting back out onto the oval. And Hamby looked like he had a lot of speed. He has put a little gap between him and Batista already, about 5 car lengths. Did not take long. That'd be the last lap here for Hunter Engrave. Most of this GT4 class just now coming to take the white flag for their final lap as well. Nate Morris with problems in the GT4 class was running 10th. Now finds himself back to 12th. As Johnny Hamby takes his final lap here with the lead in the GT4 class. And here comes Hunter Engrave taking the checkered flag and the win here in his first GT3 race. It's the sprint race win here for Hunter Engrave. Different class, same result. And now here's the battle for the lead. Johnny Hamby trying to hang on. Just 2 corners to go for Johnny Hamby. Doesn't look like Nick Batista is going to be able to get there. Oh, and I take that back. Sorry, folks. Now has 2 corners to go. But it's the same result with just a couple minutes remaining. Johnny Hamby able to put the move on Nick Batista. And Johnny Hamby will take a sprint race win here at Indy Bike. Alrighty, folks. Unfortunately, not going to get a look at the replay there for the GT4 class lead. I apologize. A lot of stuff to pay attention for one broadcaster, but we will get your interviews with the sprint race winners here after the break.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Turn 200's coverage of the ASRL Sports Car Championship from Indianapolis Motor Speedway is presented by Eminent Signs and Graphics, Mullet Music Productions, CJR Graphics, and the American Sim Racing League, celebrating 25 years of sim racing excellence.
Hi, folks. Welcome back from the mid-race roll there. We got the GT4 class winner of the sprint race, Mr. Johnny Hamby, in the booth. Wow, that was a pretty great race for you there.
Absolutely. I wasn't sure I was going to get a win with these guys out here. Got a little bit lucky. Had some guys have some issues. I had to run Nick down. He was pretty strong, and we always race each other clean. But yeah, I was glad to at least get one under my belt.
Yeah, well, you mentioned a couple of drivers got together there to give you a little bit of breathing room to operate, but had to make the pass there on Nick Batista. And unfortunately, we had a lot going on the track, and we kind of missed most of it. What happened there to make that pass there?
Nick was just solid all the way around. I was trying to seek out where he was weak. Turn one, I was a little stronger, but I didn't have enough room to get to him before turn two. But a couple times coming out of the last turn around those cones onto the straight front stretch, I saw him check up with his brakes a little bit here and there. So I was trying to set up a good exit, and I finally got beside him going into one, and finally took it.
Well, it was a great move, great race for you. Unfortunately, you're now going to have to cycle to the back of the field and try and work your way through. I would imagine this is a track that's going to be pretty tough.
Oh, yeah. It's always tough. I am usually somewhere in the back 3 or 4 starting the main. And some of the guys that end up, where they have issues or whatever in the sprint, there's some strong guys to pass up through there. But it's kind of fun. I kind of like the invert, to be honest with you. And it teaches me a little bit more racecraft.
Well, it certainly makes it exciting for us and everybody watching at home. But congratulations again on the sprint race win. Who would you like to thank out there?
I want to thank you and Tommy for picking this damn track. Backwards Indy Bike. If you can hear the sarcasm, but
Well, it's one of my favorites. Probably not really anybody else's. So
there's like no braking markers, man. We're just guessing out there. But it's different. Definitely different. I'm kidding around. It's fun. I learned a lot in that race. Hopefully, I'll pick it some more up in the second race. But thanks for the recommendation.
Sounds good, partner. Well, good luck here in the feature.
Thanks, Matt.
Alrighty, that was GT4 Sprint Race winner Johnny Hamby. And I'm going to have to go in search of Hunter. See if we can move him up, but I'm going to have to do this a couple of different ways. He probably has no idea what's going on here. There we go. There is the winner of the GT3 Dash Race. Hunter Engrav is here in the booth, and a different look for you out there. We switched classes, but still come away with the Dash Race victory.
Yeah, a little surprised by it, a little bit. But no, the Porsche definitely fit this track to the better than the Fry, I think, this week.
Yeah, I mean, drivers have been talking about it a lot. Difficult track here with these cars, but you got yourself the pole. How important was getting the pole there, for getting yourself that sprint race win? Because not having any traffic in front of you, I feel like probably really helps here.
Yeah, for sure. The clean air is really, really important at this track, especially that first sector. Saw a lot of turns and everything, and you want clean airs on your nose to make sure the car rotates very good. And the Porsche does probably the best car in the GT3s to do that. And I knew I wanted to get enough of a gap because John was in the Mercedes, so I knew he was going to be fast down the straightaway. So I wanted to kind of make sure I had a big enough gap that he couldn't catch me down the straightaways. And after that first one, I thought I could pull away. He was sticking with me for a fair amount of the while, which I was a little bit nervous for a while. And then it just slowly, once I got out of that second, it started just kind of slowly pulling away. And yeah, after that, it was just kind of keep hitting your marks. Almost missed the breaking point in turn one once and almost spun out. But overall, it was a good race, and I'm glad to be back in the GT3s.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you back working with a little bit of different competition here. So coming back through the field is going to be a little bit different for you with some of the competition you got out there. How you feeling?
Nervous. I'm very nervous. I don't know how it's all going to go. GT4s, I was a little more aggressive on and everything. Competition's a little different here. I don't know if I should be aggressive, cautious. I don't know 100% what the game plan strategy is. I know the Porsche is the slowest in the straights, so yeah, there's definitely it's gonna be interesting on the pit road to kind of figure out strategy that way. I think it's gonna help me the most, I think.
Well, whatever plan you choose, you're usually pretty darn good at it, so I'm sure you're gonna fare just fine. Who would you like to thank out there?
You guys always for doing a absolutely amazing broadcast as always. Got to at least race against you last night, which that was pretty fun, and my mom and my dad for always watching these, and then my teammates Matt Schlosser and Kevin Bonomi.
All righty, sounds good, partner. Well, congratulations again on the sprint race win, and good luck here in the feature race.
Thank you very much, sir.
Righty, that was the GT3 class sprint race winner, Hunter Engrave. And, oh, there he goes. He moved himself. Alrighty, we are just on the cusp of the feature race. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here. I see Michael Milfelt and Heath Smith cheering on the Max V boys. Yeah, good finishes for both of them. Obviously, Johnny Hamby with the win. James Lehman a podium there in the GT3 class as well. They got their work cut out for them here in the feature, though. Both of them going to have to try and work their way through the traffic. That's right. It's an invert here for the feature at Indy Bike. And this is going to be your starting lineup. Well, it was supposed to be your starting lineup. Our overlays have decided to not work here for a moment. Usually when this happens, Tommy's here to pick up the slack, and I can try and fix it Unfortunately, not going to have that luxury here, so we're going to have to try and reload these if you'll give me just a moment. But the fields are going to be inverted, but the GT3s will still start ahead of the GT4s, so nothing to worry about there. But it's going to get hairy out there. And you heard Hunter and Grav mention it. The pit stops might be uber important here tonight, and not only that, they're going backwards there on the backwards from the regular road course. That is, it's all sorts of messed up. But there go through the GT3 drivers, and we're gonna let you listen to this beautiful theme song here from Joshua Rutherford at Mullet Music Productions while I get this fixed momentarily. There we go, folks. Sorry about that. Easy fix here tonight. But here is the starting lineups once again. Here in the GT3 class, Matt Short is going to start on the pole. Dave Payton in second. Joshua Rutherford will start in third with Jarrell Williams on the outside of that second row. Starting in the third row, Brian Deese and JJ Wang. Jeff Mathis and Brody Gunter will start on the fourth row. Kevin Bonomi will start ninth. Matt Schlosser in 10th. Johnny Alford starts 11th, and James Lehman will start 12th here in the feature. Joshua Hagen will start 13th, and the winner of the sprint race, Hunter Engrav, will start in the final position there in the GT3 class in 14th. GT4 drivers Fred Thompson, Nate Morris going to be on the front row. Dan Miglin, Rhett Nichols, 3rd and 4th. Rick Thompson, Ryan Dye, 5th and 6th. On the 4th row, Corey Rutherford and Ken Estep. Renee Garcia and Inika Scarlett will start 9th and 10th. Alex Howland and Nick Batista, 11th and 12th. And it will be the winner of the dash race, Johnny Hamby, rounding out the field, starting in the 13th position there in the GT4 class. Sun is starting to go down a little bit, much cooler track temperatures. It's about a 10-degree difference down to 76 degrees, so a little bit more grip out there for the drivers as we are going to get lined up and going here for the drop of the green flag in the feature race. Pace truck is off. Will one of the winners of the dash races be able to make it from all the way to the back to the front of the field? It's time to find out. The green flag waves here at the Brickyard. Brian Deese trying to get to the lead early for the overall lead to the outside of Rutherford for right now. Wow, this is such a tight corner for everybody to get through on the start, but it looks like everybody gets through somewhat clean except for James Lehman. Huge problem for Lehman here, and has to wait for almost all of the traffic to go through before finally being able to get his way back onto the racetrack. That is going to be a huge blow for Lehman, who already had a tough start ahead of him. Now it's just going to be even tougher. Joshua Rutherford still leading the overall. Whoa! Brian Deese way up the inside. Thought Jeff Mathis was going to try and outbreak him there for second. And this might be bad news for the Oh! Brian Deese off the racetrack. Mathis is going to get through, but Nomi is right here as well. Whoa, looks like Joshua Hagee had a big moment there as well. He's able to save it. There goes Bonomi. Going to be to the outside of Wang. Oh, there's contact. Brody Gunter barely squeezes through there as well. Boy, it is getting chippy on the very first lap here of the feature race. Tight quarters all around. Not much space to work with. Here goes Rene Garcia trying to get into the top 5 around Corey Rutherford in the Banana Machine. And completes that pass down into turn 1. Oh no, JJ Wang's around. Looked like contact maybe with Brody Gunter. It is all going down there through turns 3 and 4. Or 2, 3, and 4, excuse me. Comes James Lehman trying to get to the inside of Johnny Hamby, work his way back up through the field. And Jeff Mathis has pulled right up to Joshua Rutherford. Going to try and take a look to the inside. Rutherford going to play it safe, give him the spot. Brian Deese trying to follow it up as well. Good leap. Says that this is a fun track to watch. It certainly is, but as Corey Rutherford just demonstrated, not necessarily a favorite of the drivers. It is so tough and difficult, and Rutherford ends up having a problem. Gonna drop back to 11th there in the GT4 class. Here's a good little grouping here. Dan Miglin leads this group. Has a podium position in the GT4 class right now. But Rene Garcia, Rick Thompson, and Johnny Hamby are all in tow. Scoreboard going a little crazy right now. It'll sort itself out as it always does. Garcia going to get through on Thompson. Here comes Hamby trying to do the same. Not going to be able to complete it there, but might have a good run here on the oval part of the racetrack to try and take a look to the inside. That's a tough one to make, though. It's going to give it a whirl. And Thompson pretty much knew that didn't have the pace to keep up. Just lets Hamby through. Pretty sportsmanlike right there. We've seen a lot of bumping and banging, but it's good to see some space being given. Holy moly, look at this group. Oh, Brody Gunter nearly got into the back of Joshua Rutherford. Couple of Ferraris here going after it. There goes Kevin Bonomi looking to get through Rutherford as well. He does. Joshua Hagee's right here. That's Darrell Williams in the black ice. BMW got through as well. And then there's Hunter Engrav trying to work his way through up to 8th right now. But lots of traffic in front to work with. Or work through, I should say. Matt Schlosser trying to get through and be able to get through. Will Hamby be able to follow it up as well? Does not look like it for now, but maybe a little contact. Let Miglin know, I want to get through. Looks like Hamby a little bit too deep there into the right-hander. Had to slow way down. And Hunter Engrav has gotten past Darrell Williams to get up to 6th. Brody Gunter, Brian Deese, and Kevin Bonomi here together. This is the battle for 2nd. Brian Deese has it right now. Jeff Mathis, you can see just in front of them by about 10 car lengths or so. But there is a long line of drivers all trying to fight for that position. Matt Schlosser gets a good run out of turn 4. Going to be able to get past Terrell Williams there on the oval section of the racetrack. Coming down there into turn 5. But look at this group. I mean, when we talked to Hunter Engrav, he talked about level of competition and the caliber of drivers that is different, just a different group of drivers than he has to deal with in the GT4 class. Whoa! Brian Deese has a huge slowdown there. Did not get through that corner well. Brody Gunter goes flying by. The two of them nearly made contact. And now Kevin Bonomi trying to stick his nose in as well. Might have a good run here. Oh, gets blocked a little bit there by Deese. Here comes Joshua Hagee with a huge run. Hagee looking to take it up the inside. And makes the pass on Bonomi. And now looks to the inside of Deese as well. Bonomi trying to see if he can pick off Deese in the same corner. Hagee gets through, but Bonomi not able to get through on Brian Deese. And there's Hunter Engrav and Matt Schlosser right here as well. We are only 10 minutes into this race. Oh, and that's Nick Batista. Looks like Batista had some sort of an off-track incident. It looked like there might have been some damage to the front of Batista's car. And surely has to be, looks like a lap down. All the way down in 12th place. Not where Batista wanted to be. Bonomi has been so good there on the exit of the final corner where those cones are that we talked about. Gets a big run down the front stretch and clears Deese before they even get to turn 1. Engrav into the grass a little bit. We have seen disastrous things happen when you touch the grass there, but Engrav able to navigate. And still looking for more. Dives down to the inside of Brian Deese and takes that 5th position. Johnny Alford got around Matt Schlosser. He's looking to take over this position from Deese and does. Schlosser and J.J. Wang, the next two in line to try and get through on Brian Deese. Deese started up front, but drivers have steadily been working their way through. Schlosser into the grass a little bit. Has to throw a little bit of a block there. Looking back here in the GT4 class, hasn't been a ton of action. And that's Dave Payton, a GT3 driver, getting through on Rene Garcia. Nate Morris and Johnny Hamby are fighting for position pretty heartily here. Hamby with the experience and the speed from the dash race going to get through on Morris to get to a podium position. That moves Hamby up to third. But the gap between Rene Garcia and Rhett Nichols is 12 seconds. That's right, Rhett Nichols, who got together, I believe it was with Garcia. They're in the dash race. Both of them were able to cycle towards the front there with the invert, and Nichols has made the most of it. I mean, we're only 15 minutes into this race, and Nichols has a 12-second lead. That is just a masterclass right now. Hoping to hang on. Of course, we have a pit stop to do as well. Still a lot of things to take care of there for Nichols, but looking like he's in a very good spot right now. We'll go on board here for a lap with J.J. Wang, the only Ford in the field week in and week out. And this is to make a move on Brian Deese. Return 3, now exit of 4. Deese goes a little bit wide. J.J. gonna get a good run up the inside. Here's Matt Schlosser. Oh, Schlosser going to dive to the inside. I didn't think Schlosser would be close enough, but tries to outbrake J.J. Wang there into the turn. Just not quite able to be there, but still fighting. We're going to stick with this battle for a moment. Schlosser caught the lap traffic in kind of a tough spot there. Loses a little bit of time there to J.J. Wang. Those two continue to fight for 7th. Closest battle towards the front, in front of Wang and Schlosser, is between Joshua Heggie and Kevin Bonomi. Brody Gumter in front of them continues to try and work through some traffic. And now Heggie and Bonomi have caught that traffic as well. This is Rick Thompson in the GT4 class. And Corey Rutherford in the GT4 class as well. That is battle for position. And both of these classes, well, I thought Bonomi would look like he was going to try and cross Rutherford over, but Rutherford was just going to stick to that inside and try and let Bonomi go around the outside. Just kind of got crossed up there a little bit. So Joshua Heggie now with some breathing room, and now it's Hunter Engrav has pulled up to Kevin Bonomi. That's one thing we really haven't talked a whole lot about tonight either. Not only is it difficult to make passes in class, very tight quarters, but there are a lot of awkward spots to catch lap traffic. Makes it very difficult to navigate if you catch a lapped car in one of those tight little corridors or one of the very tight turns. By the way, update on James Lehman, who had that big problem on the very first lap of the race. He's worked his way through all the GT4 traffic and through a few of the GT3 drivers. Lehman sits in 11th currently and has Williams, Deese, and Schlosser right. Oh, no, there's problems. Corey Rutherford got into it, I think, with some lap traffic. Or some class traffic, I guess I should say. Out of the deal, Lehman's going to get around Williams. I'm not sure what happened there. But Corey Rutherford was right in the middle of it. Oh, and now there's an off track. That was Matt Schlosser. So Schlosser was able to gain quite a few positions and now gives a couple of them back. Schlosser now down to 11th, and James Lehman's picked up a couple of spots there on that lap and looking for another one. And is able to complete it. So Lehman, in a matter of pretty much one lap, goes from 11th to 8th after all of what just happened. And let's go back and take a look at what happened here. And this is that battle for position we talked about before. It's Corey Rutherford on the inside of the Chiquita Bananas machine and the 76 of Rick Thompson. They're fighting for position in the GT4 class. The two of them make contact. Rutherford trying to give Thompson room. Meanwhile, Schlosser is pulling right up to them. And too wide, really nowhere to go here. Schlosser gets into the back of Rutherford. Spins him sideways. And Deese goes around. And then, of course, Schlosser had the other problems there on that lap as well after the contact. For the back half of the GT3 class, that was a major shuffle of the deck. Wouldn't be surprised to see pit stops coming here pretty quick. We are just now at the halfway point in the race. A lot of times we'll see drivers go a little bit farther than halfway, but GT3 drivers usually have to come in before GT4 traffic. And just as I mentioned it, here comes Kevin Bonomi. Bonomi going to be the first GT3 driver down pit road. Ryan Dye down pit road here as well. Ryan Dye's in the GT4 class, currently sits in 7th as we speak. But who will that bring down pit road? Bonomi up in the top 5 of the overall. Will anybody answer the call? Or do the other drivers have a strategy in mind, and are they going to stick to it? Brody Gunter now starting to track Jeff Mathis. Mathis has done a great job leading this field, trying to manage that lead, get through traffic as well as he can. But Brody Gunter is on the prowl. Gunter gets caught up a little bit there with a GT4 driver. And Mathis is down pit road. Gunter going to stay out. And that's going to give Brody Gunter a little bit of clean air out front here. Will that be a difference maker? Will Brody Gunter be able to leapfrog Jeff Mathis on pit strategy? Matt Short in the GT3. He's going to be down pit road as well. Seems like most other drivers made their way on by, so still a large majority of this field needs to come down pit road at some point. Here's a battle for 7th in the GT4s. As Rick Thompson is caught up to Indica Scarlet. And there comes Jeff Mathis out of the pits right in front of them. Johnny Hamby was starting to catch Rene Garcia, but Johnny Hamby now going to come down pit road. Alex Howland going to follow suit as well. So the earlier pit stops than we see a lot of times for the GT4 drivers. Dan Miglin down pit road as well. So that's over half of the GT4 drivers down pit road at this point. Still the top 10 need to come down pit road in the GT3s. Only 15 minutes to go. Still quite a few pit stops needing to be made. Where will they shake out after all the dust has settled? Kevin Bonomi has caught up to Jeff Mathis here. The two of them have been down pit road. And Mathis theoretically could cycle to the lead, but having a little bit of trouble getting around Joshua Rutherford right now. Here comes Hunter Engrav from third. Many different strategies as far as pit road goes here tonight. A lot of times we'll see little groupings of 2, 3, or 4 kind of come in together, but it's just been kind of one by one over the last 5 laps or so. The biggest group we had was a group of 3 GT4 drivers. That was really it. Most of them have been 1 or 2 at a time. Brody Gunter still out on the racetrack. There's a little bit of traffic there. I think that was Rick Thompson, but you can see he has a clear track in front of him and just doesn't want to mess that up right now by going down pit road probably. Wants to ride this out as long as he can. Well, he has that clear track, so he can just focus on running optimum lap times. And Joshua Heggie from second down pit road now. JJ Wang down pit road as well. So Johnny Alford, James Lehman all stay out. Brian Deese is going to stay out. Drew Williams. Schlosser. Those are the rest of the folks that need to come down pit road in the top 10 of the GT3 class. 6 remain. In the GT4 class, Rhett Nichols, Rene Garcia, and Nate Morris all need to come down as well. They are currently running first, second, and third. Of course, Nichols and Garcia were running 1 and 2 before the pit cycle started regardless. And the gap between them, Nichols has opened it up to nearly 18 seconds in front of Garcia. And Garcia really isn't worried about Nichols. Garcia is worried about Johnny Hamby, who was starting to close in before Johnny Hamby came down pit road a number of laps ago at this point. And here comes Johnny Alford. Brody Gunter going to stay out for another lap. James Lehman down pit road. Brian Deese going to make his way down pit road this time. I think this might be a pretty big group. Jarrell Williams. And not Matt Schlosser. But only 2 remain. That were inside the top 10. To come down pit road there in the GT3 class. Josh Rutherford and Dave Payton need to come down as well. Rutherford sits in 12th currently, Payton in 14th. And closest battle right now is between Hunter Engrav and Joshua Heggie. This is for 3rd overall right now. But both of them have been down pit road. So Heggie and Engrav both leapfrog Jeff Mathis there on pit cycle. Mathis currently sits in 5th when Gunter and Schlosser come down pit road. Should cycle out to 3rd, but it'll be close. They will all likely be together. Engrav tried to make a move to the inside. Wow. Couldn't tell if it was contact or if they both just got hard on the brakes and kind of broke loose. Regardless, it was a it was a heart-pumping moment, I guess you could say, inside the race car. Both of them slipping and sliding there through the left-hander. But Engrav does not want to waste any time. Seems like he thinks he's faster than Heggie and wants to get through quickly. There's Rene Garcia down pit road from 2nd there in the GT4s. We're going to find out where Johnny Hamby comes out in all of this after Garcia completes a pit stop. And there is Brody Gunter. Gunter comes out in front of Heggie and Engrav, but they are close. But Engrav and Heggie cannot waste too much time battling amongst themselves if they want to try and get up to Brody Gunter. Side by side here through turn 6. And it looks like Engrav has taken the spot. So Engrav going to set his sights on Brody Gunter. Matt Schlosser still out on the track. Needs to come down pit road. And Johnny Hamby has cycled out in front of Rene Garcia. So Johnny Hamby looking for another podium here from the back to nearly the front. Currently sitting in 2nd. Rhett Nichols still has not come down pit road yet, but had opened up an 18-second lead. And now here comes Rhett Nichols down pit road from the GT4 lead. But really, all eyes are on the battle for what will be the lead in the GT3 class. Brody Gunter leads it by 1.3 seconds over Hunter Engrav. Will Engrav be able to complete another sweep, but this time in a different class? The first race this season in the GT3 class for Engrav. That would be one heck of a feat. Blinky Roberts, the chat saying this isn't an oval. No, it is not. But we are going the correct way for the oval this time. Just not taking the oval. No real battles for position right now. Looks like Hamby's broken away from Garcia. Nichols came back out on the racetrack, still 18 seconds in front of second place. This time, it's 18 seconds in front of Johnny Hamby rather than Rene Garcia, though. The closest battle is probably between Kevin Bonomi and Jeff Mathis here. Bonomi is making some time on Mathis. Both of them also trying to work through some traffic, though, as well. Has played a little bit of a role in these two getting closer together. And now, this will complete the pit cycle. Matt Schlosser from the lead comes down pit road, and that will relinquish the lead to Brody Gunter with Hunter Engrave still 1.3 seconds behind. 5 minutes left. Will Engrave be able to push it to the limit? We're about to find out. Still closest battle in the racetrack. This is Bonomi and Mathis. As the lead really... Oh, it looks like Engrave may have had a little bit of a slip up there. Probably some traffic coming into play, but lost a good 0.3 of a second. And you can see the traffic behind and in front for Engrav, so having to work through quite a bit of adversity here to try and make his way to the leader, Brody Gunter. It's already been a heck of a drive, but if he could get to Brody Gunter and make the pass, that would just be the sweetest drive of all time. Here's that battle for fourth. Bonomi has been so good out of the final turn. Heading down the front stretch and gets another good run side by side with Mathis across the bricks. Looked like he was going to be able to pull out in front, but traffic, Corey Rutherford. Bonomi had to make way. And Jeff Mathis able to use it to his advantage and get back out in front of Bonomi. Bonomi had that position. Has to be so frustrated right now. And that's what we talked about earlier, just catching traffic in bad spots. There's so many places you can really get caught up in traffic here. And it's no fault of the traffic. It's just the way the cookie crumbles at a racetrack like this. Those two continue to battle. Meanwhile, Hunter Engrav, he has started to close the gap. Here's the cockpit. That is Brody Gunter in front of Hunter Engrav. Will he have the pace? The lights are on the cars as the sun continues to set here. at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Meanwhile, behind them, Mathis and Bonomi still going at it. Bonomi, another great run out of that final corner. And no traffic to contend with this time. Kevin Bonomi will take the spot, finally gets himself up to fourth. Here's Rhett Nichols still leading the GT4 class and still 17 seconds in front of Johnny Hamby. So nothing doing there, but there is a lot doing here up front. Hunter Engrav tracking Brody Gunter. Can Engrav capture another sweep week here in the spring of 2024? Oh, a little bit of traffic. Thompson does a great job letting him through. Gonna catch maybe in a difficult spot here. No, they're gonna be able to get through clean. And it will be one final lap to go. Will Hunter Engrav be able to get to Brody Gunter, or will Gunter take the feature win? Starting to get awfully dark now. That sun has all but set. The headlights are on. And the heat is on here for the race win. Engrav going to try and set up a really good run down this little back chute. Gives you a great opportunity to try and get to the inside. Into the left-hander. And it looks like a pretty good run for both of the drivers. Don't think Engrav's going to be able to be there. Just 15 and 16 to go for Brody Gunter to hold off Hunter Engrav. Engrav with a pretty good run, but it is not going to be enough. Brody Gunter takes the feature win here at the Brickyard. Rhett Nichols still a very commanding lead here in the GT4 class. Can just put it on Sunday drive cruise control here. And Rhett Nichols, the Team Watson driver, is going to take very slowly. Gonna stop before the bricks. Oh, he must have taken the... Did he take the checker flag? I don't think he did. I'm not sure what was happening there, but regardless, Rhett Nichols is gonna take the win here in the GT4 class, so Couple bottles of milk and kissing the bricks is in store for both Rhett Nichols and Brody Gunter here tonight. Johnny Hamby's going to come across in second there in the GT4 class. Rene Garcia rounding out the podium. Now here it comes. We're going to get the celebration from Brody Gunter. And it is dark now. We started this race in the late afternoon. And by the time this feature finished, it was almost completely dark. But Brody Gunter able to hang on. And I believe everybody has now completed their laps. So should be able to get you the full field rundown. Waiting to see if we're going to get any celebration here from Nichols as well. And just a little coast on the front stretch. So I think that's going to be all she wrote for us here. Let's go ahead and get to that full field rundown for you. Alrighty, folks, here are the race results for the feature race. In the GT4 class, Rhett Nichols hangs on. I say hangs on. Takes the win by a large margin. I know it only says almost 7 seconds there, but it was really like 18 seconds before Nichols slowed way down. Johnny Hamby going to come in second. Rene Garcia rounds out the podium. Alex Howland finishes fourth. And Indica Scarlet, a good top 5 run here for Indica in the feature race. Good to see that. Rick Thompson finishes in sixth. Dan Miglin in 7th. Ryan Dye, good to see Ryan Dye out here in the GT4 class, finishes 8th. Ken Estep in 9th. Nate Morris 10th. Nick Batista in 11th. Corey Rutherford and Fred Thompson will round out the GT4 field in 12th and 13th. And in the GT3s, it was Brody Gunter hanging on to the win. Hunter Engrave. It's going to take me a while to get used to saying that. It comes in second, nearly pulled off the sweep, but not going to do it this time. Joshua Heggie, good run from Joshua, sits there in the podium position third. Kevin Bonomi, good stuff from Kevin again here this week, finishes in fourth in the feature. Jeff Mathis hangs on to a top 5. Johnny Alfred, James Lehman 6th and 7th. Brian Deese 8th, Darrell Williams in 9th. Matt Schlosser rounds out the top 10. The Matt Short 11th, Joshua Rutherford 12th. J.J. Wang had a couple of issues there throughout the race, finishes 13th. And Dave Payton rounds out the field in 14th. Alrighty, and that is going to bring us to interviews looking for Johnny Hamby once again. I'm not sure Johnny is in here any longer. We got to hear from Johnny there in the as the winner of the dash race. Still looking. Just going to give it one more second here. Usually I have Tommy Cook to try and do this while I'm working controls, but the solo mission here tonight, not going to get a word from Johnny Hamby, I don't think, but heard from him as the dash race winner. So congratulations again to Johnny Hamby on a great night here. So we're going to go ahead and move on to your winner. in the GT4 feature race. And that is Mr. Rhett Nichols. It was a great drive for you out there, and almost like a little bit of an easy Sunday drive. That was a large margin of victory there for you.
There's nothing easy about a Sunday drive at this track. Holy mackerel. Zero that I was even competitive here.
Well, I mean, you were, if not the fastest, definitely one of the fastest cars on the track all night. Unfortunately, had an incident there in the dash race, but I guess that's just a part of it here at Indy Bike.
That's just part of racing in general. Yeah, it was just some bad luck, but I'm glad we could pull out a win here. Most people know my teammate. He's fighting for his life in the hospital, so it was great on the week after that to be able to get a good race here in and at least get some points here and have some fun for him.
Well, it was certainly fun to watch there in the dash race, and obviously still had your work cut out there for you in the feature race as well, but being able to start closer towards the front of the field certainly helped you out. But I mean, how is it having GT3 drivers come through at this track? Because if you get caught in a bad spot, it can be really treacherous.
This track wasn't too bad on traffic. A lot of the medium speed corners are nice and wide, and they're not too much faster than us in the slow speed corners, so I didn't really find traffic to be that much of a problem. I could see where if you're in a battle with somebody and GT3s are coming through, though, that could definitely be a problem.
Well, it was a great run for you here tonight. Anybody that you'd like to thank out there?
Yeah, first of all, I got to thank, send a word out to Nate. Hope him a very good recovery and speedy recovery, and hope to see him back on track here soon. I want to thank the race organizers, the league, the broadcast team. You guys do an excellent job every single week. Team Watson Racing, and JJ for getting me to race in this league.
Well, congrats again, partner. And Nate was actually here in the chat a little bit earlier. Sounds like he's back at home in Iowa trying to recover. So, yeah, hoping for the best for Nate in his recovery and looking forward to having him back here at some point. But congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty, folks, that was the feature winner of the GT4 class, Rhett Nichols. And now we are going to go in search of Hunter and Grav. And my Discord doesn't work the best. I got to kind of drag everybody a little bit haphazardly here. And here is the second place finisher in the feature race. Hunter and Grav nearly was able to get another sweep here tonight. Just maybe needed a couple more laps there.
Yeah, it sucks, but no, it was fun. If I had to lose to a person, it would definitely be Brody. Brody's fast in these cars. It was just cool this week. Top end GT3, and knew that you rode front, you made an impact in the race. So yeah, no, it was certainly interesting. I don't even know if I could have passed him. The straight speed he had was ungodly to the Porsche, and then dirty air just in the turns just didn't turn very well at all when I got behind somebody. When I got clean air, I could catch people, but the second you were behind somebody, you couldn't. I wasn't going to send it on Brody at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was still a great night for you. You certainly made an impact at the front of the field tonight. That is an understatement. I mean, how are you feeling coming into tonight? Obviously, switching classes, not only a different car, but a different crop of drivers to try and race with as well. I mean, what were the expectations kind of coming into this week?
Just basically, the goal was to beat my teammate this week. And he was very competitive and got a little bit quicker than him, and was trying to help him practice. He gained speed, but overall, it was just to kind of shake off the rust off of these GT3 cars. And yeah, no, I was surprised by the speed of the Porsche, and I saw some people picking up some speed. I knew I was still a little bit in the bag in qualifying. It worked, but yeah, no, the goal basically this week was just kind of just shake off the rust. Haven't drove a GT3 since Bathurst 12 hours, so it's been a while.
Well, it certainly has, but it was fun to watch here tonight. So looking forward to more great racing from you here in the GT3 class going forward. Give some shout-outs here again for you.
My mom, my dad, my teammates Kevin, Matt, for being my teammates, and then you guys for always doing a phenomenal job broadcasting, and Corey for always doing an amazing part in making this league happen. And yeah, congrats to Brody also for winning.
Well, sounds good, partner. Appreciate the time, and looking forward to more, getting you up here more in the future. But congratulations on another great run here tonight.
Thank you very much, sir.
Alrighty, that was Hunter Engrav, podium finisher here in the feature race, winner of the sprint race. And now it is time to pull in the winner of the feature race. That is Mr. Brody Gunter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, talking to a majority of the drivers here tonight, all of them pretty much the same consensus, thanking me sarcastically for picking an Indy bike for the race this week. Tricky stuff here for all of you tonight, but how did you see it from your cockpit?
It was a very interesting track, let's say the least, when you take 11 of the 16 turns in first gear. But very, very, very challenging. Not many straights to pass on. I felt like there was points where a lot of us, kind of just was stuck where we were and couldn't catch people because we were so close on speed. But I decently enjoyed it. I felt like I did not really have usually I always say it sometimes, but I think I fully agree that this is not a Ferrari track. It was definitely a Porsche, especially when I tested the Porsche and I was half a second faster than my Ferrari car a lap. But I felt like I did what I could. This race, first race, was not my race at all. But yeah, luckily I was able to take advantage of the closer starting position and then keep Hunter behind me at the end.
Yeah, flip the script a little bit for you here this week. Not as good of a finish in the sprint race, but I mean, we'll take a win in the feature all day. But I was going to ask you, you kind of mentioned being kind of stuck where you were at some points. There was a point here earlier on in the feature race that there was a group of 5 or 6 of you that were all just lined up and couldn't get around each other, couldn't really go anywhere. And I think somebody may have gotten into it with some lap traffic or something that really just opened the door. I mean, how is it trying to work your way through a long line of cars? I mean, is there really anything you can do other than kind of wait your turn, I guess?
It kind of definitely was exactly that. I mean, it was just waiting for mistakes that you hope would come, but it's just hard for felt like half the field here. They're not very mistake prone, I believe is the word you'd say. I don't feel like they make a lot of mistakes, so it was kind of just a lot of just riding around. I feel like it's how most of the tracks have been this season. Minus Watkins Glen, which is where I'm hoping Road America next week will be a lot easier and probably more exciting as a driver because you'll be able to have a lot more passes and battles.
Yeah, I know. Tommy and I are very much looking forward to Road America next week, so I think it's going to be a welcome change from some of the tracks we've been at so far. But I'm going to open it up to you to give your shout-outs and thanks here with the big win.
I guess everyone at ASRL, everyone at Tone 200, and then I guess me and Nate 510.
Sounds good, partner. Well, congratulations again. It was a great run here in the feature, and go celebrate, party hard.
All right, thank you, man.
Almost forgot to use Tommy's catchphrase, go party hard, for the winners. I did forget it for the rest of our winners, or at least for Rhett Nichols, but got it in there for Brody. I always like to use that when Tommy's not able to be with us. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in here tonight. Very exciting night of racing here. This is one that obviously I had circled on my list when the schedule came out because I knew that this was going to be kind of a wild track, and it certainly produced. Hope that everybody out there enjoyed it as well. Thank you to Goodleaf, Flinky Roberts, Heath Smith, Michael Milfelt cheering on the Max V fellas. Pretty good nights for them in the dash race. Lehman was able to get up to 7th in the feature race, and of course Johnny was able to get up to 2nd. in the feature race again. So pretty good nights for them. Thanks to Hunter Leach cheering on Tommy and listening to Tommy on Dirt Vision in the World of Outlaws. Not sure if that is, I would imagine the feature race is coming up for that fairly soon. So if you are subscribed to Dirt Vision or have been thinking about it, tonight is the night to do it. Our very own Tommy Cook is on the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series broadcast. So go check him out. It's a very big night for him in his real-life career. Thanks to Zach Brosman for tuning in, Joshua Rutherford at Mullet Music Productions, of course, Nate Siefker. Again, well wishes to you and hope that you recover quickly. We are here for you in anything that you need. But thank you to everybody for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. We got the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series coming up tomorrow night, and that is going to be from Kansas. You're not going to want to miss that. Those drivers are really going to get after it there on that 1.5 miles. Of course, we have PMR coming up on Sunday as well. I think we have Porsche Mission O after that as well. I don't remember the track. I want to say it's a short track, but I would not quote me on that. And then we'll be right back here next week for Road America on Wednesday night. I know y'all are going to be here for that and excited for that one. A long but very, I guess, more traditional road course there. I think that's going to produce a great one. Very much looking forward to that. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next time here. And congratulations to Johnny Hamby and Hunter Engrav taking the Dash Race victories, and Rhett Nichols and Brody Gunter winning the feature races here tonight. Thank you everybody, and have a good night.
This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.